everybody? Thanks for watching. Now, I wanted to touch on building success because to build wealth, you have to first build success. Success is the key. It is the path to wealth. And a lot of us, we have our own interpretation on what success is. You know, what may be successful to you may not be successful to other people. If you are a person who has set goals in life and you wanted to be somewhere and you made it to that point, then to you, you may be successful, and to others as well, you may be successful. But we all know we basically measure success in this society based upon, you know, how much money you have. You know, it's the difference between being rich, wealthy, and successful. And, you know, people who classify as rich and wealthy, we say is successful people. But, you know, it is not the same with each person, of course. Now, you can be successful in the sense that you have a good job, you're making good money. But, you know, what do you own? What are your assets? You know, how much money do you put out a month? How much money do you bring in? And success is really going to be measured in, if you lose your job, you know, how long can you sustain yourself, or can you sustain yourself and sustain, you know, your family and what have you? So success can be measured in a lot of different ways. And the problem with us in the Black community is we haven't really been taught, you know, how to be really successful. We've been taught how to make money. We know how to make money. You can go out there, you know how to get a buck. Everybody got a little hustle. You know, you can go work here, flip burgers there, sweep the floor, do dishes or what have you in different places to make money. But what about success? You know, what do you have to do? And, you know, a lot of us now, you know, I'm starting to see with a lot more people a lot of people are not really taking advantage of education. And this is just how I feel. I feel a lot of us are not really taking advantage of education and the fact that you have something out there like FAFSA, which I know they suck. A lot of people don't want to be in debt. A lot of people always say, you know, FAFSA sucks and Pell Grants and all that sucks when they owe money, you know, but not when they are in school and it's actually paying for their education. So you have to, if you get that opportunity to get the money from the government to actually go to college and to be in school, then you have to do something with that. So to me, the key first will be education, because in being successful, what do you want to be successful at? You know, what do you want to do with your life? That's the first thing I ask a lot of people when we're talking about this subject, when we're on the subject of success. What do you want to do? Do you have a skill? Is it something that you do well, better than others? And, you know, some people want to play sports. Some people want to be in the entertainment industry. Some people want to be in the fashion industry or what have you. And a lot of people have these really high goals, really high dreams that, you know, they get the influence from, you know, popular culture, from the media, television and stuff like that. And a lot of people are not realistic in what they want to do in life. And not just that, they don't realize how hard it takes, you know, how hard it is to get to those levels and to be those very few people who make it big in entertainment, fashion, you know, and the whole world of popular culture that we see and that we are immersed in. So what ends up happening is a lot of people get to the point where they are not willing to do the hard work. They're not willing to put in the kind of effort it takes to be at the top. And, you know, really, it begins with education. And if you don't have a skill, if you don't have something special that you do better than others, then you should get education. You should get a degree in something so you can at least stand a chance. Now, some people are happy just working a 9-to-5, getting paid hourly, not getting a salary. And, you know, a lot of people have these dreams. And I'm one of the things I've been trying to tell people, especially Black people, is that there's not going to be, a lot of us hope too much. We sit around hoping we win a lottery or that something happens. You know, something happens, somebody get rich or something like that. Something happens to take us out of the position that we are in our, you know, everyday life. And that's not realistic. You know, you have to decide now, what is it that you want? Do you want to be working at this job forever? Do you want to be here slaving for this boss and, you know, getting bossed around and ordered around? Or do you want something better for your life? Or are you just content with living, you know, paycheck to paycheck? Now, with education, at least With a degree, at least, you have a chance at a salary. You have a chance at a high-paying position. And you have a chance to move up in that corporation, in that company, to be something better, or eventually, possibly open your own business. Your shot at building a wealth begins with education. So I try to tell a lot of people, go to school, get it out the way. Unfortunately, in this society, you have to have that education. If you don't have a skill, if you don't have something you do better than others, you should get that education and learn something, become skilled at something so you can be at that level of success. Now, a lot of people are conscious, and a lot of people want to say, am I going to the white man's school and learn the white man's way and this and that, And, again, it's not being realistic. You got to understand where you're at and what's going on and what it takes to get success, to get to a certain point. Now, not everybody's going to be lucky. Not everybody's going to find a niche market where they can make money. A lot of people is not going to find a position where, they can really build wealth. Everybody's not going to hit the lottery. Everybody's not going to become a major superstar, celebrity, or what have you. So in being realistic, and this is what I'm speaking to, in being realistic, just hear me out. Being realistic, you must have an education. You have to. You got to do it. Because then you have a chance. And who knows, what can happen after that once you have the education. So what I do for a lot of people, what I tell people to do, go back to school. At least get a degree in something like business. I mean, even if you don't want to do a bachelor's, if you just I want to do an associate's degree, go and get an associate's in business management. So then you can basically work anywhere. You get a degree in business, you can basically work anywhere. You get a job, you start somewhere, you work your way up, and you get to the point where you're making a salary and you get something over $50,000, $65,000 a year, and you're making good money. Then from there, at least you have established a position to where you are making at least 5 figures a year, or 6 figures. And you establish a position where you're getting good money. So then at least if you want to branch off and do something else to build wealth further away from the company you're working at, you have the means to do so. And you're not just sitting around in church praying and hoping and wishing that something would happen. A job and a career is 2 totally different things. Everybody knows this. But the person who got the career has a shot at building wealth and being really successful, way more than a person that's getting paid by the hour, where you don't even know your boss's name. You don't know who owns the company. He don't know you. You're not really getting no bonuses. They don't really care about you. You're just another, in and out employee. You're not essential to the company. You're a dime a dozen. You're nobody. And why would you want to give multiple years of your life to work in a position like that? Think about it. So now, even when you look at the numbers, most people without a college degree is making, under $35,000 a year. And we don't even have to crunch the numbers for people, the difference between people with college degrees versus those with just a high school diploma or an equivalent. We don't got to crunch the numbers. They're making tens of thousands more a year, than people without a degree. Now, everybody always kick that, well, it's people with college degrees that don't got no jobs. They're sitting up there unemployed too. People go to college and they ain't got no jobs. Well, put it like this. A person who has a degree, who don't have a job, versus you without no degree, who don't have a job, who is more likely to get a better position? Now, of course, that person with a college degree that doesn't have a job can go and settle for same job as you, 9 to 5 regular hourly job, but they had the potential to do much better. So which one would you rather be? Wouldn't you still rather have the degree? And really, that statistic is really for people who have these oddball degrees. People who, majored in 19th century French poetry, or 19th century art or something like that. You spent years in school to study art, and it's like there's very few jobs that you're going to be eligible for, that you're going to be able to get. Then also, a lot of those positions like that require you to have like a master's or PhD, in those fields like art and everything like that. So you have to be dedicated to going to school a lot longer than 2 years, 4 years, to compete for a position like that. So when a lot of people say, a lot of people with degrees don't have jobs, there'd be a lot of people who choose jobs like this. It's people that go to school for a long time and end up not even taking a job using a degree. I mean, I'm perfect example is that. I went to law school. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't even take the bar exam. But I finished law school. So a lot of people go to school, and I've been going to school. I've been in school basically my entire life. I'm still in school now. But I'll be finished my PhD this year, in computer science. But a lot of people, we go to school, we don't use the degree, and a lot of people, they don't really necessarily want to be in that field. A lot of people choose these fields and they go to school and then they realize they don't want to do the job. But, you pay for college or you got a student loan and now you basically, you got to figure something out. So, it's really important. And this stuff you learn in like junior high and high school is really important for you to make a plan and really figure out what you want to do. And this is the problem in the Black community, because a lot of us, we don't have that model there to show us, the correct way to go ahead and fulfill success. A lot of us, our notion is go to school, get a job. And you finish high school, you got to work somewhere. You got to do something. And this is what we see. Some people go to college, but they don't finish. And some people, when they finish college, they get a job and they think they made it and they think everything is fine and they're going to be successful. But really, they just like a person without a degree. They're working a job until, they retire. Only difference is they'll retire with a lot more money and probably be a lot better off than the person without the degree. But as I always teach people, you have to eventually, at some point, think about making a move and opening your own company, your own business, and doing something to bring wealth to your family. Not just pass you down a couple dollars, leaving some money in life insurance or what have you, but establishing something as a family that can generate wealth, for your children and their children and so on and so forth. And this is what we have to start doing as Black people. We have to start building wealth, and it begins with building success and having the right attitude and mind frame going forward. Now, some of you are in your late 20s, 30s, or what have you, and a lot of people feel like it's too late to go back to school. It's too late to go back to school. I'm not doing it. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that atmosphere. I don't like to be around it. I mean, not a lot of people like being in school. A lot of people didn't like that. I ate up education. I like learning new stuff. So, I always stayed in school to learn and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't like school. They just don't like being in there and doing that. It's also online classes. Now, your degree won't be accepted on the same par as somebody who actually went to a traditional 4-year college, but you still will have a degree. You still have the paper. So that's an avenue you could take. But you have to make that decision. What is more important, your own, whatever that shit is that don't want you to go to school, or you being successful. Because I say to a lot of people, that's just laziness. It's lazy talk. The same emotion and energy you have to get up and go to that bullshit 9-to-5 job, you should have to get up and get an education that's going to better your life and help you get out of that bullshit 9-to-5 job and get something a lot better. You should have that same kind of motivation. The problem is a lot of us, we as Black people, we don't see instant reward. We don't really want to stay on for the long haul, and that's been our problem over time. Sacrifice. We don't like to sacrifice. You want to see instant reward, instant gratification, instant success, and it doesn't work like that. And a lot of people got to understand that you have to put the time in. You got to put the work in. You got to sacrifice. You got to give up some shit to make it, to get there. And it's going to come down to either you make a decision or you look back 3, 4, 5 years down the line and have regret and say, damn, by this time I would have graduated. By this time I could have had my master's or my bachelor's, versus, where you at that point. Still working 9-to-5, still working for a job that don't appreciate you, and, you're not really making enough money. And, it's not to say that you can't build success at your 9 to 5 job, but a lot of people don't even have the cushion that they need in case something happens with that job. You know, if you depended on your job, your 9 to 5, if you lose that, I mean, that's it. You can't pay bills, you can't pay rent. You know, then what? So living paycheck to paycheck is risky. It's not even really living. It's, you know, it's gambling, because you lose that job, then what? You know, a lot of people get the income tax money, they go blow it. And a lot of people don't understand, if they save that money, if they save that income tax money and then build on that, because what you really want to have, you want to add up all your expenses, your rent, all your bills, everything, all your expenses a month. You want to add them up. And you want to have at least 3 times that in your savings account. You want to have at least 3 times that. So that way, you know, if you lose your job, you got 3 months of expenses in the tuck, you know, to take care of bills until you find another job. Unemployment should kick in. You should get that. And that'll help you relieve the stress of you constantly taking away from that savings. So you have that money there that you can still keep building on. Now, let's say you get your income tax money and you put that in your savings account. Now, once you go back to work, because people act like it's party time. I'm seeing it right now. But people who getting their income tax money, they traveling all over the world, they're doing all kinds of shit. A couple months from now, they're gonna be broke.